morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is SAOYO Griffith. I am just going to quickly, I have been asked to quickly just give some experiences on the issues that we have been facing as perhaps people who are on the ground and people who on an everyday basis engage with sexual and reproductive rights. Because Dr. Okoro did the great work of summarizing for the members who are here what the legal framework is, I will not get into that. I just want to go straight to what I think are the missing gaps that we have and what I think is the role of those who are here with us, meaning members of parliament, in terms of safeguarding sexual and reproductive rights. Just to start us off, as Dr. Okoro said, we have a constitution, and within the constitution, Article 43(1)(a) speaks towards what our obligation is in terms of the state has an obligation to ensure that we have the highest attainable standard of health, including reproductive health. In addition to Article 43(1)(a) of the Constitution, we have several other constitutional provisions, including Article 27, which talks about non-discrimination on the basis of pregnancy and health. We also have Article 26(4) of the Constitution, which talks about the right to have access to safe abortion for women and girls, particularly when it's an emergency, if the life or health of the mother is in danger, or if permitted by any other written law. My starting point for members of parliament is to underline if permitted by any other written law. That means that there is an obligation on parliament to enact laws and other grounds for which a woman would need access to safe abortion. The second issue that I just want to raise is in terms of the framework that we have under the Health Act. Section 5 of the Health Act talks about the responsibility of the government to offer two things which will be free and compulsory. That is free vaccination for children who are under the age of 5 and free maternity services. As it is today, we are yet to get guidance on what exactly free maternity services should be able to entail. We have had instances whereby we have seen either counties attempt to regulate for themselves by enacting maternal newborn child health acts. Several of these counties, including Makueni, Nairobi, Kilifi, Kisumu has not yet enacted it, and Nakuru, have attempted to regulate maternal newborn child health issues. It would have been great for us to have that guidance at the national level so that we have bare minimums. As it is, there are two issues that I would like perhaps maybe just to summarize in terms of what are the gaps that I find. 2014 and 2016, we had two bills that were before the two houses of parliament. The in vitro fertilization bill, which was thereafter changed to be called the Assisted Reproductive Health Bill, and the Reproductive Health Care Bill that was promulgated, or rather introduced in Parliament, by the then Senator Honorable Judith Sijeni. Both bills failed. The first question that I'd like to ask in terms of what is the role of Parliament is, how can we be able to save bills that come before you? And during the 5-year term that you have as a member of Parliament, unfortunately that bill does not pass through the two houses. Honorable Senator Judith Sijeni's bill, the Reproductive Health Bill, passed in the Senate, but it never made it to the National Assembly because by the time she had fought those wars, it was time to transition and go to elections. The question that I then want to throw back to those who are members here, have you passed any motions that can be able to save bills that are either passed by one parliament and can be able to be taken forth to the second house, even beyond the life of whoever was the senator or the mover of that bill? The second thing that perhaps I'd like to ask in terms of the role of parliament is, how do we also safeguard sexual and reproductive rights in terms of budgetary allocations? This comes back to you because, as we say, where else the budgetary process starts with the National Treasury, there is a role that is played by the Health Committee, by the people who are sitting here in ensuring that allocations are done based on what we have committed internationally. I'm sure this song has been sung to you many times about the 15% commitment by the Abuja Declaration. My second point is, how do we safeguard budgetary allocations towards SRH? Thirdly, How can the Houses of Parliament fix the existing gaps that we have in SRH? As it is today, in vitro fertilization and surrogacy are not regulated. 2 court cases have been decided on IVF and surrogacy, one by Justice Majanja, one by Justice Isaac Lenaola. Both of those decisions mandated Parliament and asked Parliament to be able to make laws on surrogacy and IVF, because as it is, this job has been left to the judiciary to do it for you, in terms of deciding who is the owner of the child. Is it the commissioning parent? Is it the owner of the uterus? Who exactly is the owner of this child? Or do we have to adopt these children the moment they are born? So as it is, we do not have a law that regulates that. So what is the role of Parliament in terms of either identifying the existing gaps that we have and filling those gaps in sexual and reproductive rights, or repealing laws that are in existence that are in contradiction with the Constitution? Sections 158, 159, and 160 is your homework from me. Those are sections in the Penal Code. I'd like for you to go and read them vis-a-vis what the Constitution says as regards access to safe abortion, vis-a-vis our international commitments by the Maputo Protocol. Lastly, what is the role of Parliament in giving timelines for enactment of policies by the Ministry of Health or any other body that is in the executive that is supposed to enact policies? We have policies that have been in the shelves of the Ministry of Health in terms of guidelines on access to safe abortion. They are yet to be enacted. We have no guidelines as it is currently on a lot of issues that were supposed to be enacted in terms of policies and guidelines from the Ministry of Health. What role can Parliament play in summoning MOH and asking, can you give us a timeline for enactment of these policies? And lastly, what role does Parliament play in questioning the executive when unconstitutional directives are issued? As it is, Simon Kigondo is giving me the thumb and telling me that he wanted me to raise this. I just wanted to highlight something, and it's unfortunate that my computer is not compatible with the projector. Section 5, subsection 4 of the Health Act speaks to the following. For purposes of implementing subsection 3, which is on free maternity services, the national government shall, in consultation with the respective county governments, provide funds to county governments. Why have we reverted Linda Mama to NHIF? What role does NHIF play in safeguarding what should be a constitutionally county function? Section 5, subsection 4 of the Health Act is very clear that the national government's duty is to, in consultation with the respective county governments, provide funds to county governments. In addition to this, we have seen directives that have been issued recently, unconstitutional directives, including girls who get pregnant from schools from NHIF covers. We have seen NHIF, especially the Linda Mama package, not cover girls who fall pregnant while they're in school. What role does Parliament play in these unconstitutional directives, in summoning people who make these directives and demanding that they be held accountable? I drop my mic now.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Please, a round of applause for her.